How can you build a great systematic trading strategy? Today, I am going to be building from start to finish a strategy that I will submit to Kevin Davey's wonderful Strategy Factory Club. I have been doing this since I first took Kevin Davey's course back in 2018, and I'm going to, from start to finish, build a strategy. In this case, it's an interest rate strategy that I will submit to his club. And I wanted to record a video. So if you are new to Kevin's club, if you're new to strategy building, if you're just curious how another trader builds profitable systematic strategies, you can see firsthand my process. Now, there's two important things that I want to point out here before we get started. And the first is that I first took Kevin's Strategy Factory course back in early 2018. So that's 6 full years ago. I've really enjoyed being part of this club. It's a fantastic way to submit strategies. And then if your strategy performs well, you receive lots of strategies in return from traders who work for hedge funds, for CTAs, private traders, other students in Kevin's courses. So it's a fantastic way to get new strategies. I've happily been a part of his club and part of his community since 2018. The way that Kevin teaches strategy building in terms of using walk forwards has remained pretty consistent, but the tools that he's leaned on have changed through time. Most importantly, he started leaning more heavily on software called MultiWalk, which we're going to go through a little bit today. But when I took the course, MultiWalk did not exist. I have taken a few iterations of Kevin's courses over the years, but I've never actually taken his club his course when MultiWalk was part of that curriculum. So I probably use MultiWalk in a very different way than what he teaches. The second thing I want to point out is that I have won a lot of Strategy Club months. I have a total of 85 months of different strategy packages. So that's almost 7 full years of monthly packages. Now, the reason that I bring this up is that this process works. The process that I'm going to walk you through today works. There is no person on this planet besides Kevin Davey who has more Kevin Davey strategies via this wonderful club. So the process that I'm going to show you today and walk through, it might be slightly different than how Kevin teaches it in some minor ways that I'll do my best to highlight. But again, it builds strategies that work well in real time. So let's jump into TradeStation. I'm going to bring up my TradeStation screen here. And what I'm going to start with is, let's take a look at what Kevin is asking for the August club. So if I look at what Kevin is asking his Strategy Factory Club students to build for August, I'm going to build a strategy for his August 2025 club. He wants us to submit interest rate strategies. So if we submit an interest rate strategy, if it performs well, we then get that current month, and we get a bounty, meaning you can request any other package from back in time that we'd like. It's a great way to, again, get access to additional strategies just beyond that current month. So we're going to build an interest rate strategy. Now, what I've done here is I went back through time and I looked at a series of months, which, let's see if I can find that right now. Here we go. I was looking through all of Kevin's months. These are the strategies that have won in the past. And I thought, all right, let's look at February 2023. There's a lot of long bond strategies. You see US, 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 FV, that's 5 years, US, US. There's a lot of long bond strategies in this monthly package. And I have this package. So I've brought it up here. And if I take a look, I can see there are some pretty good systems here. So strategy performance report, Pretty good equity curve on this strategy. Daily US bars. That's all right. Profit factor of 1.92. There we go. US 1440. Lots of trades. 1.44 profit factor. Pretty quiet equity curve over the past few years. Might have gotten a little bit out of touch with the market. Let's keep looking. How about this guy? Again, 1440 bars, tons of trades. Pretty good. That's a pretty good equity curve. 1.61 profit factor. I usually look for something that's above 2. And let's look at this guy right here. Another US strategy. Fewer trades. So this is a good start. If we look, this has fewer trades. 2.77 profit factor. Let's look at the equity curve. That's beautiful. That's a great equity curve. So what this tells me is that this is a good start. This is a strategy that has a good chassis, has a good foundation upon which I can build a good strategy to submit for Kevin's club. So let's take a look at this. Someone named Dom submitted this. Good job, Dom. Let's take a look at what you built. Bringing up my TradeStation development environment. There we go. I'll put this on the screen. Hopefully put this on the screen so you guys can see it. There it is. Perfect. So I'm going to scroll down through all this walk forward code. I'm not a huge fan of leaving all this walk forward code in there. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's a very, very simple strategy. So what this tells me is that this is going to be a pretty straightforward strategy to work with. You know, there's no filters that I can, there's one filter here, but there's not a lot of mess to clean up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to save this. I'm going to save it as a SFClub. What is this? It's for August of 2025. This is a US Dom strategy. Again, thank you, Dom, for building this great strategy. So there we go. I have my complete strategy. All right, there's the entry. It's got a little safe WX here. Begin, buy next market. Let's just clean this up so it looks very nice for us. All right, so this is what we are working with. There is our beautiful, simplified strategy. Just a few lines of code. That's great. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to, this is a US 357-minute bar chart. Let's go chart analysis. This is just so I can create a new chart outside of the workspace that Kevin had created. 357, first date, always 01/01/2010. Actually, no, I'm going to go back to 2007 because Kevin has a rule that if you go back to 2007 and you create a strategy with a stop loss, you could win an extra month. You could win a new bounty. That's a new rule that he implemented a few years ago. So let's go back all the way to 2007. It's going to wait for some data, and let's add our strategy. It's probably still waiting for some data. All right, so let's look for our SFClub. Here we go, August 2025. Okay, now, moment of truth here. Did my simplified trade, my approach to just using hard-coded inputs instead of all of that walk-forward code, did that generate a pretty good strategy? Awesome, right? Awesome. We're off to a really good start here. So, good-looking equity curve, 2.36 profit factor. That's going to be, I think that's going to be just fine. Let's actually look at long trades versus short trades. So, short trades aren't doing as well. It's been better to be long bonds using this strategy over the past, 15 years than it has for short bonds. So let's just see if I can bring that up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a filter package. All right. Let's see if I can find peak filters. Peak filter code. And I'm going to simply wrap this code. There we go. I'm going to simply, let's close all these other guys. I don't need to look at all these other strategies. Close this guy, close Spirit. All right, where's Dom? There's Dom. Let's get rid of this guy too. Cool. You guys got some good looks at some other good strategies there. So let's go to the short side. Pop this in. Move this all up here. And I'm going to wrap this filter code around the short entry. Now, what this is going to allow me to do, I can confirm it. I can now see that this filter, which I'm going to test, there we go. Let's test 1,000 different filters. 1 to 1,000. All right, the optimization is done running. So let's look at the optimization report. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Oh, that's a tough corner to get. Net profit, filter number 12. So of 1,000 filters, filter number 12 was our winner. So let me bring up our filters. And as a reminder, if you're interested in these filters, we have this full 1,000 filter package at peakalgo.com if you want to have access to this exact same filter package. All right, I'm going to go to function. Let me just bring this on here so you can see it. All right, where's my peak filters? There we go. And scroll down, filter number 12. Here we go, easy peasy. So close, we're going to eliminate situations where close is greater than the 40 session average. So we could write it like this: if close equals false, then begin. Or we can just say if close is greater than begin and take out the parentheses. Keep it super clean. Now, let's see, did that actually improve performance? The word end here is expected. Did I get rid of this guy? There we go. Super. Oh, that's why. There we go. It still needs that ADX filter that's up there to end. Cool. Yep, no optimization results. That's okay. I've hard-coded that filter in. Look at that. Short trades now have a very nice, much higher profit factor. 3.19. Beautiful. Look at that. That's a great strategy. So that is our strategy. So I'm going to go to properties. I need to now make this realistic. Remember, I opened up a new workspace. So all of the slippage and commission assumptions from the old workspace were removed. 200 bar look back, that's fine. Let's just double check that it's still a good equity curve. If this strategy traded a lot, if it had 600, 700, 800 trades, slippage and commission would make a big difference. The strategy does not trade all that often. It's like a multi-week, multi-month swing strategy, looks like. So adding slippage and commission shouldn't make much of a difference. But to submit a strategy to Kevin's club, you always have to include realistic slippage and commission rates. So still loading. Look at the performance report. That's absolutely fantastic. Little drawdown here, but it's going to have a good, it has a good profit factor. It's going to have a good Kalmar ratio, which is what Kevin wants to see for his course. So now what we are going to do is we are going to run this through MultiWalk. So I'm going to have to bring up my notes on how to do that. I got my notes here. So let's grab the strategy. There it is. Simple strategy to grab. Let's open up apps. Let's go to MultiWalk. Paste in my strategy here. Fast length, I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave these how they are, fast length and slow length. I am actually, I'll tell you what, let's just toy around with fast length. I'm not going to change the ATRs. I'm not going to change the slow length. Let's just do fast length from a value of 20 to 30 x2. And let's see, is that going to pop up? Perfect. 6 iterations. I'm going to take a picture of this so I can remember how many iterations I used. I'm going to save that to my desktop. And just in case, I'm going to get it one more time. Did that actually save it to my desktop? There we go, desktop. Super. 6 iterations. Just going to play with the fast length. Now for symbols. Instead of testing across a ton of different symbols, I'm going to test on US. And 357, instead of touching a bunch of different bar frames, I'm going to test on one interval. So I'm going to test symbol list at US 357. I'm going to go to my, that can stay the same. Here we go. For my walk forward in and out sample periods, I'm going to change this to very, very wide walk forward in and out sample periods. And we're going to talk a little bit about why I do this in a few minutes, but we're going to use really, really wide 3-year, 3-year, 2-year, 2-year. I know Kevin includes a lot of like 1 year, 1 year, and 1 year, 6 months, but I'm going to tell you in a minute why I choose much wider walk forward in and out sample periods. So end dates, let's go to 06, 01, and let's create the strategy. So, boom, there popped up our strategy. I am going to simply go in here. I'm going to save this as, and I'm going to call it C_C. And yeah, that's fine, _C. So it has a new name. So I'm keeping my original A strategy. I'm not touching that. But the C one, I'm going to pop in here. No, sorry, I'm not going to save it as C. I'm going to save it as M for MultiWalk. So I can easily find it. All right, so let's go down to M. And let's see if I can find SFClub. Where are you, SFClub? SFClub August Dom. There he is. There's our Dom strategy. Now I'm going to go to operations. I'm going to disable run the project. An error occurred. The strategy is not verified. That is a rookie mistake, guys. There we go. Let's stop the project run. Let's go to operations. Let's run the project, see if that works. There we go. Strategy's running. This should take 10 seconds. So it's testing iteration 3 of 6, waiting for TradeStation. There we go. MultiWalk analysis complete. Loading the reports. All right. So let's go to reports. Let's go over to 3-year. I always start with one of the longer, wider walkout periods. And we'll see in a second why that is. Let's click on this. All right, so this is what I'm looking for, is one number right here. Next optimization date, 06/26/26. So this does not need to be re-optimized until June of 2026. Now, why do I do this? The reason I chose that really wide 3-year period, remember I mentioned that Kevin often uses like 1 year, 6 months, or 1 year, 3 months for his walk forward in and outs. There might be a slight bit more statistical relevance there, or maybe you're just getting more confidence from refreshing your code more often. In this case, I just don't want to have to resubmit and retest this and send something to Kevin in 3 months, right? Because he's going to ask if the next reoptimization date is in 2 months, he'll write me and he'll say, Dave, send me your new variables, send me the new values. If that's on me to give to him, I don't like doing that. I don't like getting those emails. So for the last 5 years, I just use super wide in and out periods to avoid having to refresh my code. So this line of code is pretty much all I care about. So now I am going to do something that I think is pretty clever. So let's go into Claude. I'm going to paste in this cleanup code command. I'm going to grab my entire, let's just grab it from the text file. I'm going to grab what MultiWalk gave me as the final output. No, excuse me. I do want to use this one. I don't want to use the text. That was the to run it. I want to use, where is that? Let's go back here and just double check I have the right thing. Good. This is what I want. I want the code from what MultiWalk runs. I don't want the code that I submitted to MultiWalk. So just to double check I have it, I clicked here in MultiWalk. There it is. I'm going to go back into Claude. I'm going to use this script to basically say, clean up my code. Submit it. There we go. Super easy. Look at that. Looks fantastic. Much cleaner. So I'm now going to copy this. I'm going to go back into TradeStation. Save this as, and I believe everything that I give to Kevin is under _D, I think. But let's just call this 3-year D August. That's fine. We'll find it no matter what. Paste it in. Look at that. There's my cleaned up walk forward code. I don't want any of this. My code should have already cleaned that up. Now, look at that. Beautiful. Easy peasy. In fact, I don't even want this. That's beautiful. I might have to delete that last end. Let's see. Awesome. So now, moment of truth here. Let's go back into here. Instead of this beautiful A version, our untouched original code, I'm going to add our D version, which is the new version, not the untouched code. It's the new version that has Kevin's walk forward stuff in there. So let's go to D. Let's go to, what is it? SFClub, we called it. SFClub August. There's our DOM strategy, 3-year, 3-year. We can remove this. We can remove our original code. We can keep this. Now, moment of truth. This is the moment of truth. Is this going to look good? Is the code that we tested and build the walk forwards on, is it going to look like something that I could submit to Kevin's club? Is it going to look like something that's now going to pass Kevin's Monte Carlo spreadsheet approach, which I'll go through in just a second? Brilliant, right? 4.43 profit factor, 4.43, 4.42, good on both sides. This is an awesome strategy. This is for sure going to pass Kevin's Monte Carlo step. Yeah, looks great. Plus the strategy's long today, meaning if I'm submitting it right now, maybe we go to, like, I don't mind being long bonds here, right? That's a nice position to enter on going into August. We're long bonds here via this trade. Markets come down, good time to be long. Maybe that gets us off to a good start. So strategy performance report. Let's save this. Let's save it to my desktop as DOM. That is saving. Excel always has a little glitch here where it asks me to save twice. Saving to file. Let's see if I can open this up from my desktop. Where are you? There's DOM. All right, so DOM is opening for some reason behind TradeStation. There we go. Now I am going to go to desktop. I'm going to go to trading. I'm going to go to strategy factory. I'm going to go to Monte Carlo. This is the Monte Carlo sheet that Kevin provides to students when they join his club. I think Kevin is not quite as convinced that MultiWalk does Monte Carlo analysis all that well. So what I'm just so you guys can see it, there's the spreadsheet. I need to paste in trades here. All right, there we go. We are running the Monte Carlo return to drawdown of ridiculously high numbers. This is going to be fine. So for what Kevin wants for his club is he wants this return to drawdown to be over, I think 2.0. This is like a Kalmar ratio. This is super high. So this is going to be just fine. There we go. About 15. Fantastic. This is extremely high. This is a great number. Now, what that might mean, what that might suggest is that this system is a little over-optimized, but I still like its chances of performing for us in real time. So that's it. We've built our strategy. So now what I need to do is I need to go through the process of quickly filling out the form that Kevin gives us to fill out every month. Let's do that now. All right, let's go to Strategy Factory, submissions. There's June. Let's make this August of 2025. And we're going to call this our DOM US strategy. We can get rid of all this other stuff from the old strategy that I submitted. Let's open this up. All right. So symbol US, bar length 357, I think it was. Start date 01/01/2007, end date of 7/16/2025, and yeah, everything else looks good. In and out 3-year. Now, this is the parameter that I optimized. Remember, I took a picture of that so I could remember what it was. There it is. So I ran fast length from 20 to 30, step 2. So I'm going to bring this up and say fast length from 20 to 30, step 2. There we go. This is August 2025. Whitcomb, how many iterations did you run? I ran 6. If you tested more than one in and out, what did you submit? Just one I chose at random. Remember, I chose that 3-year. That's pretty random. I shouldn't say it's random. I choose that one almost every time, but it's one of the ones I standard test. There we go. E is fine. Made no changes. Monte Carlo. So let's go back in here. Let's go to my workspace. Let's look for, Kevin wants this number. He wants this number from in sample Monte Carlo 1.75. 1.75. What is the annual in sample P&L? He will use this to gauge if I've built a good strategy, if my performance is good enough to exceed that historical P&L. So what's my in sample annualized net profit? 13,607. 13,607. Have I verified that it's worked in the 6 months prior? I would say yes. Now, the reason for that is, do you remember we looked at the original DOM strategy from, what was that, February 2023? So, in a way, I have verified that it is profitable, more or less, using pretty much those same inputs. I added a filter. Protective stop and start testing 2007. Let's just see here. You might remember I was intending, that's why we went back to 2007. I forgot to add in the stop. So I cannot put an X there, which is fine. I will do monthly sector. So again, if I win this month, if this strategy passes, I will not only get all those strategies, but I will also get an extra bounty month. I'll be able to choose another month back in time. Had I remembered to add that stop loss, which, look, the strategy works just fine without a stop loss. If someone wanted to run this strategy and test their own stop losses, they're also welcome to. But let's keep it simple. I'm not going to put an X there. I'm not going to go back and rerun the code. So there we go, August 2025. This all looks great. Let's save as. August of 2025. So what I'm going to do is I am now going to write Kevin an email. Let's bring back up TradeStation just so we have something nice to look at here. All right. So let's write to Kevin. SFClub. Kevin, Whitcomb strategy of the month. SFClub DOM US. I'm going to say, hey, Kevin. Hope life is good at your end. Here's my August strategy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the Cal-Mar ratio. I'm going to attach the, where is trading? There we go. Strategy factory, strategy club submissions. There's my worksheet. I now need to go in here. I need to import, export. I need to send him my ELD file, which he'll appreciate. There's my strategy. Where's the D version? Remember, I want to send him the D version with all that code in there. DDD SFClub. Where's August? There we go. When that loads, I will press next. I will browse. I want to save it to my desktop. I'm going to call it DOM US. Finish. Okay. Got it. Save this workspace as DOM US to my desktop. And there we go. DOM US. So Kevin now one more thing. Starting a few years ago, he asked us to send him our equity curve, which I'm very happy to send. That's a fantastic strategy. I'm very proud of what you and I have built today. So let's pop that in there for him. Here is my August strategy. Have a great month, and thanks as always for hosting this amazing club. Dave. There we go. Kevin, there's your equity curve. There's the CalMAR ratio, the document that shows all the information on building this strategy, the workspace, the ELD file, and I am all set. And Kevin has responded. He took a look at my email. He said, looks good, you are in. So I know that this strategy has met the criteria to be in the club. It had that great CalMAR ratio. It has performed well over time. So this strategy is now in the August 2025 club. We will see in 6 months if it makes enough money to be a winner and to win all those other strategies. So that is it. That is the entire process that I use to build and submit strategies to Kevin's club every single month. Just to review what we did, we took a strategy that has stood the test of time from a previous month's package. We tweaked it a bit. We added a filter to the short leg just to make the short leg a little bit better. We did not add a protective stop, which I could have to possibly win another month's bounty, but we're just going to leave the strategy simple as is. I used MultiWalk to generate the code. I used Kevin's Monte Carlo spreadsheet to make sure that it indeed does have a good risk return, a good CalMAR ratio, and I sent the email off to Kevin. This is the process that I've used every single month for the last 6 years. It's a pretty good process. Most of the strategies that I submit have done well in real time. So if you have any questions, let me know. Put your comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching. Good luck building those strategies, and we'll see you soon.